Okay, let's go through this final question which we had on the power rule. Okay, sometimes when I'm speaking, I might unwillingly call the power rule the product rule, but definitely you know that I wouldn't talk about the product rule in paper one. So definitely it's a slip of the tongue. So I mean there are errors as you go along the videos which you could find. I might call it the quotient rule or anything. I don't know. But you guys know that I'll be talking about the power rule because that's the heading of this thing and that's what I say at the start of the video. So what happens along the video, some errors in my speaking, you just have to, you'd understand. So let's go through this question. It's saying we have a curve. So definitely we know from the first video and from experience that when we are dealing with curves and gradients of curves, it's differentiation. It's differentiation because gradient tells you the rate of change, and differentiation is for that. Is specifically for that. So now we're going. The curve y is equal to blah blah blah. We don't really care. Has a gradient. So once they talk about the gradient of a curve, remember, we are now in A level, so these guys can trick us. They can spin the question around. But once they talk about gradient of a curve, we know that at some stage in our working, we have to differentiate. Okay? That's actually the first stage. So what you're going to do is make sure that when you see them talking about gradient, you have found the derivative. Then you can get part marks, even if you're not to do the rest, but you can get part marks. So here, the curve blah, blah, blah has a gradient, so I know I'm going to differentiate this curve. Okay. And gradient blah, blah again when x is equal to 2. So we know that derivative is not the answer of the gradient. Derivative does not give us the answer, does not give us the gradient. It gives us the gradient function, which we have said many, many times. And we said gradient function means the gradient machine. Okay? In simple terms. It is when you find the derivative, dy dx, you now have the machine that can calculate gradients for you. All you have to do to this machine is tell it where you are. And when we say tell it where you are, we are meaning tell it your x position. So here they told us when x is equal to 1, the machine gave us the answer of 5 because it will give you an answer. If you put where you are, it will give you an answer. So here they've removed what A was and they've given you the job to find it and B. But they've told you that when I put my position being on x equal to 1, the answer for my gradient was 5. And when I put the x position -2 and I said I am on position -2, what's the gradient of the curve at this position? It said the gradient was -21. So now, using this data, we're supposed to find what A is and what B is. So we could go ahead and find it. We first write the original expression, of course, the original equation rather, because it's an equation, it is an equal sign. Ax to the power 4 plus bx squared plus x. That's your y. Okay? Plus x. Now, what are we going to do with this? Well, they want us to find, of course, A and B. But we know that we're going to differentiate. Because remember, you are going to get this question in a paper. And it's not going to section your things for you. Okay? You're going to need to know, oh, this is now a differentiation question. In the midst of all the other topics, you must recognize a differentiation question. Here we saw it talk about the gradient of a curve. It can only be differentiation. So anyway, let's find dy dx because we have the y. It is equal to, remember that it won't be shouting. I will be emphasizing a point. Okay? To try and make sure you don't forget it. Okay? I have nothing against all of you. Let's go now. What would you do, yeah? Find the derivative. Remember, we do 1 by 1 because they're adding. So it's going to be 4 by a. We get 4a. And then x will be now to the power of 4 minus 1, which is 3. Plus 2 times b is going to be 2b. X is going to be to the power of 2 minus 1, which is 1. Plus the derivative of 1x, because this is x, is the same as saying 1x. The x just disappears to remain with the number, which is 1. Make sure you don't forget that it's 1. If you leave it blank, you're gone. Okay, the derivative of 1x is 1. Of x is 1. Now we have this. Okay, this is the gradient function. Now they told us that, let's go to the positions. When x was equal to 1, the gradient was 5. Okay, so you can say when x is equal to 1, this thing has told us that dy dx, the gradient, is equal to 5. Okay, all right. So we can now say where there's dy dx, we are putting 5, and where there's x, we are putting 1. So we can say 5 will be equal to 4a, and where there's x, we're putting 1. By 1 cubed, okay, we know that it's going to just remain as 4a, plus 2b by 1, and then plus 1. So it's going to say 5 is equal to 4a, because 1 cubed is just 1, times 4 is 4a, plus 2b times 1 is just 2b, and then plus 1, like that. Okay? Then I can take this 1 to the other side. 5 minus 1 is equal to 4a plus 2b. 4 is equal to 4a plus 2b. So now, what we're going to do is we try to get one of these two letters, either A or B. We try to make them the subject in here so that we can then substitute into the next one. So I'm going to try and make B the subject. I take 4 to the other side, 4a I mean. So it's going to be 4 minus, because 4a was adding on the right, comes to the left, it will subtract. 4 minus 4a is equal to 2b. Okay? Then 2 goes to the other side. It will now be 4 minus 4a. Okay? O over 2 is equal to b. If you want to simplify this, you first have to factorize the top. Then you can make that. So I'll bring 4 out of the top. It's going to be 4. I remain with 1 minus a. O over 2 is equal to b. Then 2 goes into 4 2 times. So I'll have 2 multiplying 1 minus a being equal to b. And this is what b is. 2 multiplying 1 minus a. If I want to expand it, it will be 2 minus 2a. This is equal to b. So b is equal to 2 minus 2a. Am I done? No. What do I do? Let's go ahead and continue. Okay. Sorry for these glitches. So sorry. My apologies. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. What do we have now? Find the value of a and b. Okay, we're going to find them. Now, what is the next one? Gradient is negative 21 when x is negative 2. So I would write at the bottom, but for the sake of space, I'm going to write right here to say when, okay, remember that this should be at the bottom of this. But I'm just going to write here. When x is equal to negative 2, then dy dx is equal to negative 21. So let's go ahead and put. We're going to say negative 21 is equal to 4 by a by x cubed, which is going to be negative 2 cubed, plus 2 times b times x, which is negative 2, and then plus 1. So negative 21 is equal to 4a is multiplying negative 2o cubed is negative 8. Okay, so we have 4a times negative 8, and then plus 2b by negative 2 will become, we start with the numbers, of course. Sorry for speaking with a low voice. I hope you're not sleeping over there. We start with the numbers. 2 by negative 2, the signs are different. Your answer is negative 2 by 2 is 4. It'll be 4b, then plus 1. Negative 21, we can take 1 to the other side. It'll be minus 1 will be equal to 4a by negative 8 is negative 32. Okay, the signs are different, so your answer will be negative. 8 times 4 is 32. And then we have a coming. So it's going to be negative 32a, then minus 4b. Negative 21 minus 1 becomes negative 22 is equal to negative 32a minus 4b. Well, we have the second one. We can now find our answers. Because in here we say that 2 minus 2a is b. So wherever there is b, we can put 2 minus 2a. So I could go ahead and say, but 2 minus 2a is equal to b. So I can say negative 22. Wow, why does it keep flying? Negative 22. Wow, this thing. Sorry. Let's go for it. Try my best to make it not glitch. 2 minus 2a. Sorry, we already know that. We're saying negative 22 there is equal to, let's put that, it'll be equal to negative 32a, then minus 4. And what is b? 2 minus 2a. So my b is 2 minus 2a. Change the crayon. 2 minus, oh my, negative 22, right, is equal to negative 32a minus 4 multiplying 2 minus 2a. Okay, so this line goes. We have negative 22 being equal to negative 32 minus 4 by 2 is minus 8. Minus 4 by negative 2a is plus 8. Because the signs are the same, so your answer will be plus 4 times 2 is 8 again, and it's now 8, 8. Then I take numbers to the same side. Negative 32 goes there, and obviously negative 8 will follow him. So it's going to be negative 22 plus 32 plus 8, which is going to be equal to 8a. we know that 32 plus 8 is 40. If we say negative 22 plus 32, we get a positive 10. Plus 8 is 18. So 18 is equal to 8a. Then 18 over 8. This one you can use the calculator. It's now just finding solutions. You've done the biggest part. So this will just be 2 into 8 is 9, into 8 is 4, and we get our a. Okay, maybe let me go and finish. We are here, and we say 9 over 4 is equal to a. We've gotten our a. But remember we said 2 minus 2a is equal to b. So we can now say let a be equal to 9 over 4. So we can now say in the bottom, which we don't know space, I'm going to do here, I'll say 2 minus 2 by 9 over 4. Okay, almost done, sorry. 2 minus 2 by 9 over 4 is equal to b. It's going to be 2 minus this 2 and goes into 4 2 times. So it'll be 2 minus 9 over 2 is equal to b. Right? And you could put this in the calculator, okay? And you're just going to get negative 5 over 2 being equal to b. That's done. So here you have your two solutions for A and for B. You get your full marks, okay? But the main thing was to identify that this was a differentiation question. Use the power rule to differentiate each part, and then just apply the few things that we have been taught. That's the end. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye.